Good morning, Pyongyang. I'm not sure if you can hear in the background, but there is actually some music playing. So yeah, day 2 of our trip in North Korea, I guess you could say. Bit of a foggy morning, pretty chilly, it's not really particularly cold. Well, it's not really cold, it's not really that warm. Very cloudy. But today we're not really staying in Pyongyang for very long because we're going to... Oh, magpie. We're going to the DMZ today, which should be a lot of fun. You know, the world's most dangerous place, and especially as tensions are like really high at the moment. Of course, with all the missile tests that are going on, you know, them threatening Guam, you know, threatening retaliation if anything happens. You know, just tensions are quite high at the moment. So it should be fun to go to the DMZ. Hopefully there's people there. There are some times, like in some cases, where you go to the DMZ and no one's there. It's like eerily quiet, and you're thinking, what's the fucking point? But the thing is, the music that you hear in the background, that's coming from all over there. It's all playing so loudly. I can't imagine what it's like being in the centre of Pyongyang with all that music. It sort of brings you back to reality of where you are, because you think, yeah, you're on a tour, everything's staged, but listening to all this, like being blared through the streets, it does sort of remind you of sort of the place that you are. You are in a place where propaganda is spilt at these people 24/7. Like, you walk through the streets and propaganda posters everywhere. Like, we saw one as we came in, it was quite a big one, and it was a load of missiles, and it was just directly aimed at America. It just had like America on the world map, just ballistic missiles just being absolutely, loads of them just being dropped on it, and then you just have like then propaganda of them ripping up the latest sort of sanctions. So yeah, it does bring you back to reality, and we are going for another walk later, so I'll see if we can get any more. So yeah, gonna be on the road to Kaesong soon. Got our breakfast in about half an hour, and then we leave in about an hour. So right, see you in Kaesong.
92 on the occasion of the 80th birthday of our President Kim Il-sung. So, as you see, this street is situated at the entrance to the Kaesong, the symbol of the national division.
On our way to Kaesong, we've stopped off a little sort of side of the road place. Got myself a Korean Coke. It's nothing really fancy. It's kind of like, you know, that sort of cheap Coke that you get like from supermarkets. It's nothing sort of. It's not very good, but it's drinkable. So at least, it's a good thing we stopped. We're about an hour and a half into our trip. The roads are bumpy as hell. I mean, like, seriously, they're a fucking nightmare. But yeah, it should be about another hour and a half till we actually get to the DMZ. And it should be fun. We should get to. So the thing is like, this place is even like, it's all outside. It's not actually like, there is a building. It's like a whole building, but none of it is actually So it's all. It's not actually any of it's actually indoors, which is weird. It's kind of slightly odd, especially when we pulled over. But another hour and a half bumpy ride left. You get to see a bit more of the sort of the real North Korea, I would say. It's not like proper, of course. It's not like the actual really bad bits. But you can sort of tell, you know, we see some like really, like some collective farm. They don't look in particularly the greatest condition in the world, put it that way. Ooh. Sounds like actual, like some of the first cars that we actually passed. The only things we only ever seem to pass like tour buses and sort of coaches, and of course there's a load of. We're not the only tourists in. There's quite a few Chinese groups, so like they're staying in our hotel as well. Like when we saw them at breakfast. Yeah, so they're all here. They're all about. So there's quite a few tourists heading down to Kaesong because it's like the only real road there. So, right, another hour and a half. So when entering the DMZ, you can tell that it's a sort of a high tension place. It's very quiet. The people do seem to be on quite, I wouldn't say high alert, but it's the best probably going to get from that. So there was a few procedures that you had to follow. So you had to walk like side by side down like all the roads, like to get back to your coach and stuff like that. So the first place we went into was where sort of like armistice talks took place, and it was very much. It was like a history lesson. It was basically a history lesson in North Korea about their side of the Korean War and the fact that the United States had a shameful peace against the US after the Korean War. Then the second building that we went into is where the actual armistice was signed, where the military guide that we had said a rather interesting thing.
So if the US provoke another war, then we will smash down the enemies resolutely.
So this is another place where the armistice, I'm not really keeping up very well. It's all very complex. I have to do a lot more research when I get home. There's pictures of Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il, scattered about. Stuff about them, about sort of their peace agreements. It's very big, very eerie. This whole place is very quiet. It's very strange. So, as they were saying earlier, this is the armistice that was signed, of course, by the UN, which is the flag there. There's the other flag there, which is the more worn out version. So this is the armistice signed in, I think it's 1953. I've got my facts right if I listened. So it's very interesting. And I've got a bloke to the left of me filming me. Turns out it was actually just the cameraman. So actually shout out the cameraman because he gave me most of the footage for this video.
So you see the military demarcation line in the middle. Actually, military demarcation line just crosses those 7 buildings. Can you see in the middle the sandy concrete line? That is the military demarcation line. So you see 4 white buildings here were built and taken care by our side, and 3 blue ones for the US side. So the third building from the left, that building was used for the Military Armistice Commission and Neutral Relations Supervisory Commission after the ceasefire until the March 1991. So inside the third building, over 10,000 times of talks
and meetings between two sides were held until the March 1991.
회의를 통하여 우리는 미국의 사전쟁 자발작동과 종전협정 위반 행위를 공론했습니다.
So every meetings we condemned and exposed the maneuvers and also the violation acts done by the USA against our DPRK.
미국의 종전협정 위반 행위는 판문점 사건과 꾀블로 사건을 비롯해서 종전 1991년까지 81만 5천 명에 달합니다.
So the violation act and also the distraction acts done by the USA against the armistice agreement accounts up to 800,000 times.
종전협정을 체계적으로 파괴한 미국은 1991년 3월 25일 종전협정 체결 당사자도 아니고 아무런 실권도 없는 한도성 계례군 장성을 자기들의 수석위원으로 처치함으로써 종전 감독 기구를 완전히 조락시켰습니다.
So actually the armistice mechanism and also the armistice commission couldn't exist right now because in March 1991 the USA they elected the South Korean puppet army as the main chief staff of the armistice agreement. And actually the South Korean puppet army had no responsibility in the armistice agreement.
미국의 작동으로 종전 기구들과 종전 협정이 완전히 파괴되면서 해는 이전되지 않습니다.
So owing to the distraction acts done by the USA, such commissions don't exist anymore.
3문과 3층 과대로 올라가겠습니다.
So right now we're gonna go up to the balcony to have a view of this area.
So after the DMZ, we headed into Kaesong City itself.
On the right side, you see the Korean style building with the red, the colored tile. That one is the school children's palace in Kaesong City. So you know, in every city, in every province, we have the school children's palace. So that is a kind of the extracurricular activity center for the school children. So
We went for lunch, and what we had was an old style sort of royal traditional lunch, where we also tried sojun for the first time, which I personally wouldn't recommend. It's some seriously strong stuff, and even thinking about it just makes me go ugh. So before leaving Kaesong, we went to this sort of tomb of an old Koryo emperor, but then after the 2.5 hour drive back, we went to the places like the Arch of Reunification and the foreign bookshop. Then we got the choice to either go bowling or go to this coffee shop, and of course choose bowling, and it was great fun. You know, it was the first time we could actually, you know, sit and chill and just actually have a good time. Look at that. Strike me. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Look at that. So after dinner, the waitresses sang us that good old song.
Oh,
fair to say today was interesting, to say the least. Can't remember what we even did today. It's so fucking much. First thing was, yeah. What was the first thing we just say?
Demarcation line.
Yeah, military demarcation line, which was, God, that was just propaganda, to say the least. You know, I could have laughed when the military person said that they would crush America. Like, I don't particularly favour either side in it. Well, I've got a slight lenience towards America because, of course, allies in that. But
I don't think you could start a political chat on...
no, you couldn't start a political chat with these people.
Oh no, with these people on YouTube.
No, of course you can't. You get roasted in the comments for it. After our evening meal, speaking to one of our tour guides, Mr. Lee.
And that ain't Bruce.
He was saying that there's no he's not, and the whole country is not worried about the entire sort of tension on the Korean Peninsula because the Americans haven't fired. Yeah. So basically, calling America out and calling them pussies, for being sort of a bit blunt with it. I think it was very eye-opening today, just to see what these people are about, what they believe, and like how strongly they believe it, which is kind of odd. And we got to see some of sort of the propaganda that they're sort of, you know, absolutely. How would you say it? Saturated in, because it's given to them all the time. It's like basically non-stop. The news, the papers, part of their daily lives are all about propaganda. So that is it for today. I guess see you tomorrow.